G'day, Martin here. So just out and about today up here at the farm. Yeah, just going to do a couple of things, just feeding the pigs as we can see. We'll go for a bit of a ride on the bike across the sorghum, see what is coming up there, and yeah, then go check on some cows. Hopefully got a few more calves hitting the ground, so yeah, should be good. But first up, these pigs have shorted out that electric wire down there somewhere. I've got a fair idea where, but just walk the pen anyway. Righto, so that's sorted. Pigs have just kicked up a bit of debris against the hot wire, pushing it against the fence, shorting it all out. So they're happy. I've got a clean trough. Let's go see if we've got some calves. Righto, so we had a bit of a change of plan. I thought I'd just go look at the sorghum first, not the cattle. So as you can see, this is the stuff that first got sown. It's been very slow. It's a little bit, I don't know how well you can see it on the camera, but it's a bit purple. Classic sign of stress, and most probably cold stress, given the way things are at the moment. We've just had a lot of really cold nights and some pretty cool days, although things are starting to warm up now. I think it's up to 30 something today. So it's all been very slow out of the ground. Just trying to see if I can find anything more here. The trouble with sowing on narrow rows is that it looks terrible, because everything is so spread apart. You're only targeting 5 to 7 plants per metre, so you know, if you're sowing on 3 rows to the metre like we are, 13-inch rows, you end up with a lot of spread out plants. So you know, it's about a metre from that one there, so you got 2, you got another one there, and if we go over a row, we've got one up there. You know, it just becomes very spread out, and you're not sure what sort of establishment you're getting, particularly if you've still got, you know, a lot of plants still coming, like that little fella. He would have only been out of the ground a day or so. We've got these 2 down here, they'd only just be up out of the ground. There's a fair bit of that going on, so it slows everything down a bit. Other than that, as you can see, the flea bane has not really died in the knockdown. I had my hopes, but it doesn't seem to have happened. Milk thistle, for the most part, has keeled over and is pretty dead, but it's not completely dead. Time will tell though. But all the grasses are dead, and obviously in a grass crop they're the big ones. These we're not going to kill them in crop. We can try, but we'll suppress them pretty well. But yeah, they're not going to die. But yeah. Anyway, if it hadn't rained so much the month before, we could have killed them when they were meant to die. But we could not get on country to do it, or get a plane. So yeah, all fun and games. So, and more good news, at least this stuff here in the grass country's coming up. So this was all just cooler tie grass. I wasn't too keen on that. It wasn't making any money. It wasn't very productive. It's a bit of a lighter soil type, which is why I think they stopped cropping it to begin with. But I don't know. We'll see what happens. It may make money. It may not. Maybe we go back to cooler tie grass, or we put it down to pasture, because we're tossing up, putting up this entire side of that gully down to pasture. It's a very funny, inefficient paddock. So we're tossing that up. So if we can get a good crop in it, just clean up this cooler tie grass that isn't very productive, and then put it down to something that is. Then we can make money out of it grazing. And do that instead. For now, the little sorghum plants we've got are looking pretty healthy. So this is that soak that I mentioned in the video, and while pretty well all the contours have now dried out, this is still actually wet. So that's new to me. I haven't had this problem in this paddock before, but yeah. But it did cause me a fair bit of grief, particularly because I was trying to do everything here at night and I couldn't really see that it was wet. Interesting. Right, so I just checked the two earlier sown paddocks. The last one isn't, 7 days yet since it was finished sowing. And the sorghum seems to be coming up in all of them, so yeah, hopefully those gaps fill in. And we can get on with, growing a good crop, or as good as we can. So just out here with the cows now, and we'll just float around and see where they're at, see if I've got any more calves on the ground. But yeah, looks like we might have one more. There's another one over there that I haven't seen before. And may even poke them onto the next paddock, because yeah, we're she's just getting a bit bare on feed here, so we'll just run them through to the next cell. Might be the way to go about business. Look at that, still wet. Right, I'm going to leave them alone, let them bond, but good to see that there's another new one here. So the good news is there's 2 new calves. Bad news is I'm tossing up if one of them has walked off on its calf or not. She's just a bit too full. Although she had massive udders, absolutely massive udders before she gave birth, so before she calved it out. So maybe it's just stashed somewhere, because 2 of them were down a bit. So anyway, I'm just going to keep riding around and see what I can find, but this long grass, I think I've got bugger all hope unless it's tucked up under a tree. Every time I think I'm on a win, I've seen something. It's that bloody family of kangaroos. I've just been pushing them from tree to tree as I've been up and had a look for this calf. So at the end of the day, I'm not too sure what to make of it. I can't find a calf stashed under a tree or out in the open. I've been around where she had that calf and couldn't find it there. But in this sort of grass, like, it could be 2 metres from me and I wouldn't see it. So my only bit of solace is that there is another calf there that is missing. And I know that mum had bonded very well with that calf. I'd been tracking them for a few days. They'd been, they were just glued to each other. So I'm hoping that these 2 calves are just stashed somewhere. And and we will find them shortly. But for now, it's not looking too great. I don't know, the rear udders looked like they might have been sucked on recently, and she might just be a really big milker, which is why she was bagged up a bit more. And if she may have been just off going back to that calf, and I've disturbed them all, and yeah, she hasn't. So yeah, I guess that's it. I haven't found a calf, but at the same time there's 2 missing, so they could be stashed together. And I haven't seen any birds either, which is a good sign. No crows hovering about, flying about. But that's not to say that the calf didn't die and that a mob of pigs took it either. That would have been gone in 10 minutes. So who knows? Time will tell. I might just sit here and watch them for a bit, just because that one there that's second from the right, looking back at us now, sort of scratching herself, she is the mum that was really bonded to that calf. That's also missing, and she had wandered over here and was giving me a pretty good stink eye. So the calf may be up behind me somewhere. They hopefully are both up there. I just might sit here and watch the mob for a bit in the shade. Righto, so I spent a fair while sitting there with those cows, looking at them. Couldn't see, either of those 2 missing ones, so guessing they're both stashed somewhere together, at least that's what I'm hoping. But yeah, sort of back in the tractor, just had a bit of a play with that GPS again to see if I could set up the end-trip system via Oscores, which I couldn't, and just running it for a little bit because there's a bad hydraulic leak and I'm just trying to work out where on earth it is coming from. I was hoping it was coming from the seal up in behind there, but that doesn't appear to be the case, or at least it's not coming out directly from behind the prop shaft. It does just appear to be leaking out of the joint itself, so that would be the rear main seal, and that's going to be expensive because that is going to have to be split. Apparently there's a plate in there that's got a bit of a habit of the bolts coming loose. Not on this particular tractor itself, but on this model in general, I've been told. So yeah, that's something to look forward to. I'm going to have to take this to town and pay a fortune to get that fixed. But it's definitely above my ability here to do. Righto guys, we'll just finish up here, just with this weed here. This is the bit that's going to kill me. It's what I'm waiting on for harvest. So I don't know how well you can see there in the video, but those contours are pretty green. So I'm thinking they're at least another week and a half away before they dry out. And then after that, you know, a week and a half to two, just to get the moisture down. So we're a good 3 weeks away at least off harvest. At least by the time this looks nearly ready, we can start on the rest of it and do this little block last. It's only 8 hectares, so it's a real pain in the rear. It's not something you could sort of stop and then come back to when you're relying on contractors. So anyway, that's it. Hopefully those calves show up. We'll be out here first thing tomorrow to see if they're there, and I guess that tractor's got to go to town. Till next time, keep at it.